Possibly, no, definitely, one of the best fragrances you can get for around $20. Hands down. I'm talking about Joop Homme Ice. So stay tuned. Quick look at the box. As you can see, standard Joop Fair, name of the fragrance. Size and concentration is an eau de toilette, a 2.7 ounce, very interesting. Nothing on the sides or on the top. Random fragrance info on the back. Batch code, barcode, all that wonderful stuff on the bottom. In regards to the bottle, so it is standard fare for the Joop line. Same bottle as they normally have, Joop Homme Ice. It's a lovely ice blue type of color. Some fragrance info on the bottom with a batch code, all that good stuff. Cap does click into place. I wouldn't shake it too hard just in case, but it does hold pretty firmly with a rather large atomizer that puts out pretty well. Let's get into the scent. So for me, there's a few things that stand out to me up top. First of all, it's extremely bright and fresh. So the name Ice, I guess, is kind of fitting. While not minty and cooling, it is mega fresh up top. But with that freshness comes this juicy, fruity sweetness. So there's a plum note in this fragrance, and it is dominating. I get a lot of plum from start to finish. I love a good plum note in a fragrance. So that's one of the reasons this was highly sought after for me. It was popping up at the rack stores for the longest time, and I never saw it. So I picked it up for around $20, $21 from fragrancebuy.ca. At the recording of this, I'm not sure if they still have it in stock, but I would check fragrancebuy.ca if you're looking for this fragrance. They have it for a phenomenal price. And I get a little bit of spice, but it's more sweetness than spice, really. It kind of counterbalances the spice because there is a cardamom note here. There's a little bit of tobacco, but I don't get a lot of tobacco until I start to get into that dry down. It is on the slightly earthy side. It does ground the fragrance a bit more because it's so bright, fresh, and fruity sweet up top. As it starts to dry into that heart, that tobacco does come in a little bit more. It's not I wouldn't call it a tobacco fragrance, though it does have a detectable tobacco note. Like I said, it's more on the earthy side. This is another one that seems to counter some of that juicy fruit sweetness that you're getting from that plum. The plum never seems to fade. I get that from start to finish with this fragrance. And as you start to get into that dry down, it does get a bit more creamy because there is a sandalwood note, though never comes across as a very woody fragrance in the dry down, but it does have a rather darker, earthy creaminess to it in the late life of this fragrance. The scent on this one is fantastic. It does not smell overly synthetic. It definitely does not smell like a $20 fragrance. That's the best part about this, in my opinion. I do get a little hit of the original Joop Homme DNA in the background. It smells like it belongs in the Joop Homme line, so I will give it that. It's a flanker that, while the note breakdown doesn't lend you to believe it, it still does kind of somewhat stay true to the originals. Like, the DNA is etched into this fragrance, so I do commend them for that. But one of the most surprising things about this fragrance for its price is its performance, so let's get into that. $20, 6 to 8 hours of longevity every time I wear it, and as a matter of fact, it's actually my scent of the day today. Currently, I am smelling absolutely wonderful. It's one of those fragrances that's not too heavy to wear in the summertime, but it's also dense and sweet enough and performs well enough to wear in the cold. So really, while I would be mindful of it in super hot weather in the summer, the rest of the year, roll with it because the longevity is there and the projection is there. While not a super heavy projector, by no means would I call this fragrance a beast. It's above average to very good across the board in performance. The longevity is above average to very good, 6 to 8 hours, and the projection beyond arm's length in the first hour to hour and a half. Then admittedly it does sit a bit close to the skin, but it never sits really close to the skin until several hours into the life of the fragrance. I would say the projection doesn't really sit super close to the skin and kill off until like the 4 to 5 hour mark. I still get wafts into the 6-7 hour range very, very easily. The first 3 to 4 hours, I nonstop smell myself. Luckily, I don't go anosmic to it, and I love the way it smells because I think this is a great smelling fragrance, so it never bothers me. If you're one that doesn't want to smell yourself the entire time you're wearing a fragrance, with this one, you may not want to spray anywhere in the front, whether it be the front of your neck or like I do on my bare chest, because like I said, I smell myself very easily as I'm talking about this fragrance. There's really no need for me to spray it in the air because I smell it radiating off of my skin, and I'm about 2 hours into the life of the fragrance. So projection, like I said, very good, above average longevity, very good above average, strong enough scent trail to grab somebody's attention when you walk by, though I have admittedly never gotten a compliment in the handful of times that I've worn this fragrance. I'm not saying it's not possible. That's subject to change at any given time. You never know when you're going to get a compliment from somebody. If that's important to you, I can't weigh in on it. But if that doesn't matter to you, I have nothing to offer in regards to compliments in the first place with it as of the recording of this video. Overall, Joop Homme Ice, I would deem cheapy gem must try. This one is one of those fragrances that, while I don't often recommend anybody blind buy anything, if anything I had to say in this video compels you and makes you think that you might enjoy this fragrance, you can get it for around $20. Worst case scenario, you don't like it, it was $20, and there's enough people out there that really like this or really looking for it that you could most likely turn around and get rid of it very quickly. But I believe the likelihood of you liking this is going to be pretty high because it's different. It's not a blue fragrance, though the color and the name may make you think it's a blue fragrance. It's easy to like, but not super mass appealing at the same time because it's plum, it's tobacco, there's orange blossom and citrus, there's cardamom and woods. There's a little bit of different components of what makes an enjoyable fragrance kind of tied together in this. It's different. I've never smelled anything that smells like Joop Homme Ice. I would say the hype is real. This was a hype beast for the longest time, in recent memory anyways, in the last 2 or so years, and I believe the hype is warranted because for $20, it's hard to beat. This is one of the best fragrances that you can get in the $20 range from discounters at rack stores, online, doesn't matter. If you see this one out there for 20 bucks, I say roll the dice. In the event that you don't like it, just know there is a risk that not everybody likes every fragrance, so there's a chance you won't like it, but the likelihood, like I said before, it's up there. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have already gotten your nose on this or own this? And if you do have it or have tried it, what do you think about it? I'm sure those watching this video would love to read some of the feedback from you guys down in the comment section. So make sure to sound off what you think about Joop Homme Ice in the comments. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on Joop Homme Ice, and you give it a spray now, pretty confident on this one you might thank me later. I think it's great. Have a good one, guys.